Hello, this is my part 3 updating how I am manifesting $4,000. Originally it was supposed to be over 30 days. Clearly it didn't happen, but I've learned so much, I've had so many lessons, and I think I'd like to talk about them and hopefully maybe can help somebody out there with what I've been going through. So after the 4th of July week, like that whole week, I ended up having to take antibiotics because I had my surgery on July 18th. I don't know what it was, and this isn't like major or anything, but when I was taking those antibiotics, my dreams were so vivid, and they were telling me so many different things. And I feel like that's always a sign that like I'm highly connected spiritually. Like I feel like that's always a really good sign. And none of it is anything that's like relevant to talk about in this video, but I thought that was really interesting to start with. So then I was on antibiotics for a week. I had my surgery, right? I was super anxious getting up to my surgery. And then when I did it, I couldn't eat for like 5 days. I was on a completely liquid diet. I had smoothies. I was drinking like soup broth basically for 5 whole days. And I've never fasted in my life. It's never been something I felt called to do. I am a dance teacher. I grew up dancing, so not eating was always kind of a more toxic thing that I was around rather than something that could be spiritual. But I couldn't eat, like I didn't have a choice, right? So I decided to use that as like a spiritual lesson. I was like, the emotions that are coming up, the hunger, like everything that I was going through because I wasn't eating, I felt like was able to teach me basically how to like wrangle my emotions a little bit more, but kind of being forced to do so, right? So the day after my surgery, my partner cuts trees for a living, right? That's what he does. He trims them, cuts them down if people need them removed, whatever that is. Sometimes they cut down trees and there's animals living in them. And so usually what he'll do is bring them home, and I'll call the local rehabbers because we don't want to just leave baby animals. Like, it's only babies, you know, we're not going to bring adult animals home, but it's usually abandoned babies and stuff. So the rehabbers are always like, put it back, you know, if it's a bird fell out of its nest, put it back in the tree, and there's no tree to put it back into, right? Or put it near. So he brought it home. It was a little baby sparrow. Now in the US, and I didn't realize this, house sparrows are invasive. They're native to like the old world or whatever. That means the DNR does not protect them. Now usually he'll bring home squirrels or something and the rehabbers take them and, you know, raise them and then re-release them or whatever. I've done it multiple times. It's never brought a bird home before. So for like those 3 days, I was messaging people, like 3 days after my surgery, I was messaging people, I was calling if I could talk, trying to find somebody to take this bird. None of the rehabbers would take him because they're invasive. They're not allowed to because they're like government agencies essentially. There's different groups that will take them because that's like their whole thing. They take the animals that the rehabbers don't take. Nobody would get back to me. I like literally could not figure out what to do. Okay, we had a plan to go on vacation the week after my surgery, the next Friday, because his family just bought a beach house over on the coast of the US, on the East Coast. And this is what I was kind of talking about in my last video about wealth being around you and being a sign that it's right there available for you. We got to stay at his family's house because it's his family's house. It wasn't like a vacation we had to pay for. We just had to get there. It was awesome. It was so nice. I was like, I think I might be a beach person now. I've never been a beach person in my life, but it was awesome. It was the first time in years that I felt truly relaxed and not worried about anything for multiple days in a row. Now, let me go back. His family used to live on a farm. The whole thing is they sold their farm and moved to the beach, right? Because they're retired, whatever. On the farm, they used to rehab animals just like he does. Like, that's why his instinct is bring the animal home, because he's like, you could take care of it, because that's what his mom and his sisters always did. So that was all new in terms of when we met. Like, that was something completely new to me. I grew up in the city. We did not have the resources to do that. I still live in the city. His family was more than happy for me to bring this bird down multiple states away. It was literally a 15-hour drive. And they helped us take care of this bird for the whole week. We could go out and do fun stuff. We could go to the beach, and there would always be somebody there to take care of the bird. Okay, so the reason I want to talk about the bird a little bit is because I feel like birds have always kind of had this like spiritual implication in my life, and I've never really been like a bird person. We have snakes, and I've had cats in the past. I have a rat. Of course, all my friends and stuff have had dogs. I love dogs, but I've never really been interested in birds. But I feel like there's always this like spiritual level that they have because they can fly, and then I really like them as like a symbol. But I never knew how to take care of one. So I ended up feeding this bird every 45 minutes for the first week. And then we changed it to every hour. And then the third week it was about every 2 hours. And we had him in a cage. But he was just the most beautiful little spirit I have ever met, honestly. He was so sweet, so just excited about life. We were trying to get him to learn how to fly, and he was so excited to do that. A couple days ago, he passed away, and I've been online, trying to figure out what happened, and it's just sometimes you do everything right, and they, probably ate something he wasn't supposed to, because I was hanging out with him outside for a while, every day trying to get him to fly, and then I would put him back in his cage. He never got a chance to fly. I woke up, and he was dead in his cage one morning, and I was heartbroken, and obviously we were all heartbroken. My neighbors got to be like, oh my gosh, your bird, like it was a whole thing. The whole neighborhood knew about him, basically, that we were trying to release him because there's this flock of sparrows around. Well, it turns out, so when the DNR doesn't protect birds, they actually don't mind if you keep them as pets, because usually you're not allowed to have a wild animal as a pet. It's a whole thing. But for invasive birds like that, they're like, you should just keep it as a pet. But of course it's like, well, he needs to learn how to fly. I want to give him the option to be free. And there's a whole sparrow flock around here. So I was like, every day I'd go out and be like, hey guys, like, and I'd be like, look. So then we buried him in the backyard. And the next day I came out, it was the afternoon. We buried him in the morning. That morning, in the mid-afternoon, I went out because I have a big garden in there in the backyard. And this flock of birds like flew right over my head, like really close. And I think they knew he wasn't around anymore. And I think they were kind of like, I took that as a sign, like they were telling me that they appreciate me, and they knew that I was trying to help, and I did my best. So funny, because after that day I haven't even seen that flock anymore, and I've been outside quite a bit. But the night before I found him, I had a dream, and this is another thing, like I've been having vivid dreams again, that he flew, that he was in my hands, and he flew out and up and away. And then in the dream he came back and kind of like, he like fluttered it. He used to flutter his wings a certain way, like he would, like that's how they say hello, I think. That's like, hey, I'm excited to see you. And so when he came back, he landed in front of me and was fluttering his wings like, hey, check it out, I can fly, look how awesome I am. And I think that was him in my dream telling me like, goodbye, thank you, I love you, and I'm really grateful that you did your best trying to raise me. The lesson that I learned, though, to get back into what I was talking about, the lesson I learned was that he was always so excited to live. He was always so excited to experience the world around him. But it's just like so pure. The energy was so pure and childlike because he's a baby. Baby animals have this purity that I think I've been trying to tap into. I've been trying to find that excitement within my soul of, I want to live a life like that. I want to be so excited for everything and so curious. And I guess this is probably how people feel when they have children. But baby animals it is, It's the same thing, the same energy, honestly. I've been thinking about that a lot. Okay, so to go back, when we went to go stay at the beach house, I had segment intended the whole thing, like I talked about in my last video, when you just think about how great it's going to be, how easy it's going to be, how stress-free it's going to be. I did that for the whole drive down there and then the whole time there, and it was the best week I've had in a very, very long time. And so I really struggled coming back. I really struggled, and I kind of think I didn't segment intend enough about the trip back and about the time coming back, because I've been back like 2 weeks now, maybe almost, and I'm just now getting back into doing my business. I have not felt inspired. I have not felt like that's what I really want to do. But when I was down there, I was so inspired about everything. I even did a couple hours of work on my business because I was just so excited to be living such a beautiful life in a beautiful place right by the ocean, which I live in the Midwest, so we have the Great Lakes, the Great Lakes region. Those lakes are beautiful, but it's so different at the ocean. The energy is so much more vast, so much more strong. So yeah, I don't know, I really struggle to come back, and I think I need to think about that a lot because, like I said before, I had all these ideas, and it's like I think I need to just start really, really, really practicing following my bliss, following what I'm really thinking about and passionate about in this moment, and not doing things out of obligation if I don't have to. Like, things don't have to be that difficult. If I don't feel like working on my business, maybe that's not what I'm meant to do. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for 3 years and I don't even make a livable wage yet. And, I just say, oh, it's just business. It's just, most businesses fail, and like you're still doing it and it's still going good. But it's kind of like, maybe I'm really starting to think maybe there needs to be a shift somehow. So I've been wrestling with that. The other thing I've learned one more thing, is that trying to manifest something, it's not that you want to manifest the thing, it's that you want to manifest yourself becoming the type of person to have that thing, right? So I've been thinking about like all those limiting beliefs I talked about in my last video. What are the opposite of those? Because that's what I want. That's the kind of person I want to be. And the kind of person that makes a lot of money doing their business. What does that look like? What are the attributes of that person? They're not insecure. They're not doubting themselves, right? So how do I change that mentality of myself? It's not about manifesting $4,000. It's about becoming the kind of person who $4,000 comes to easily. It's becoming the kind of person who runs a business that makes $4,000 a month or a week. It's about changing who you are, changing the inside of yourself to change the outside of your world, right? Which I feel like sounds so obvious when I say it, but that's how a lot of spiritual lessons are. Once you learn them, they feel obvious, and you're like, how did I miss this? It's part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. So I made a list of dreams and goals and aspirations, and then a list of the kind of person that lives that kind of life. Oh, okay, so this is another kind of minor thing, but I want to touch on it really quick. When we went on a visit, we hadn't seen his family in over a year. So because of that, they had gotten us Christmas presents because we missed Christmas. We were supposed to see each other around Christmas time, and then it just didn't work out for us. For them, we couldn't figure it out, right? So they had saved all the Christmas presents to give to us. And I felt like acquiring gifts when you're not expecting them, that's part of the magic, right? That's part of the manifesting things. And on another note, completely, 2 different people gave me $100 unexpectedly. I was not expecting it. And there was no birthday, there was no holiday. Like I said, it wasn't Christmas. It wasn't actually Christmas. But it's basically like I manifested random acts of money coming into my life. It happened. And then I had a dream somebody gave me $1,000, but then that didn't actually happen in real life yet. So, okay. And so then one more thing. When I was over by the beach, I got an email from my boss, my dance teacher boss, who basically said one of the other teachers was going to have to need a long-term substitute for her maternity leave, and so she offered it to me. So I was like, yeah. And I saw that as like another opportunity to make more money, as well as for a short time I would be teaching extra this fall, which is super cool. And then a couple of weeks later, I got an email saying that she's actually not coming back from her maternity leave, and she needs a full replacement. That's really awesome. I originally had said I didn't want to teach full-time. That's kind of how dance teaching works. It's not like school teaching. where you have to go in every day. It's like you get a night or 2 nights or 3 nights a week, so it's not full-time. Most dance teachers either teach at multiple studios or they have second jobs, just like me. So it's not set in stone yet, but I basically have first dibs on if I'm getting a third night teaching. I was only going to teach 2 nights. But I decided I would only do 2 nights because then I could work more on my actual business. Now that I'm kind of doubting that, I have the opportunity to teach dance more, which could be really nice. I don't know where this journey is going next. I'm gonna still continue this manifestation journey. Clearly, I'm not really worried about the $4,000 anymore. It'll work itself out, but I'm still gonna document it and let you guys know how things are going. And if I see any more synchronicities, if I take any more inspired action, I feel like there's kind of a shift in my life right now, spiritually, and I think it's because I did this journey. So I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I hope that you guys are interested as well. Feel free to subscribe below. Let me know if any of this resonated with you. See you guys next time.